We need help. We need change. The second the governor walked on the scene here, as the president is paying his respects to Alex, this crowd became incredibly emotional. Someone screaming out, "We need Jesus." This is a community that is reeling. This is the reflection of what this community has been dealing with since Tuesday, since these 21 individuals were murdered, 19 of them third and fourth graders, 9 and 10 years of age. The governor now here holding press conferences over the last few days, but failing to say that, in fact, he will talk about, at least entertain the notion of talking about the gun issue that lays before us in this country, because the numerous school shootings that we have seen repeatedly today, 2 weeks ago. This is the second mass shooting this president has had to visit in the last 13 days. And the governor now here, along with state senator, I'll tell you, the state senator who confronted him, Roland Gutierrez, at the press conference just 2 days ago, saying we need change. We need gun control measures in place. And they are here together honoring the victims of the school, Alex, alongside the president, but the community making their needs known.
Absolutely. They have the ear of the president right there, as well as the ear of the governor. Let me bring in Mark Vesey again, Texas Congressman, with whom we were speaking, Yasmin, just before we went to you. And I want to ask you about the governor, Congressman, and the fact that Texas Senate Democrats are pleading with Governor Abbott, please call an emergency special legislative session. Please address gun restrictions and safety measures. And we know that the Dallas Morning News has reported that 2 Republican state senators, they are also on board. So is the tide turning at all in Texas on this? Is it possible for both sides of the aisle to support something, like even just raising the minimum wage from 18 to, pardon me, the minimum age, not wage, to purchase a gun, from 18 to 21?
I don't think that Abbott is going to budge on any of these issues. He's shown time and time again to be stubborn, even when it makes sense to do what's good for the public. It's obvious that he's trying to compete with Ron DeSantis to be the front runner for the 2024 Republican nomination. And so I don't think that he's going to budge on this issue, unfortunately. One of the things that Abbott has failed to do repeatedly that would help with this situation is expand Medicaid in this state. And even after several red states expanded Medicaid, Abbott has continually refused to do so, despite the fact that every major hospital in the state of Texas, every major hospital system has pleaded with them over and over to do this. And you think about the number of people that would be able to afford mental health services, be able to learn how to cope with some internal feelings that they're having if he would expand Medicaid, and he won't do that. And that would be a huge help to our state. And so, no, I don't think that Abbott is going to do anything. I think that's great that there is a bipartisan effort urging him to do so, but it just shows you how out of touch the Republicans are, and how beholden they are to this industry. And I got to tell you, the Republicans are enablers of what is happening with all these shootings around the country, because instead of being with 90% of the American public again, they would rather make it easy for criminals, for sociopaths, for other bad people to be able to get guns. Even Alex, even the no-fly list. We can't even get Republicans to agree to background checks for people that are on the no-fly list. They're okay with people on the no-fly list getting guns. That is how out of control they are, and that is the wing of the party that Greg Abbott represents.
Yeah. Congressman, stay with us as well. I'm going to welcome to the broadcast. Standing by for us is the former mayor of San Antonio, Texas, Julian Castro, also an MSNBC analyst now. Julian, when you think about the mentality, the culture of Texas, I mean, it is somewhat unique in this country. Many people enjoy it, and there's good reason to on many, many levels. But what is it about the society there that has this reverence for guns that cannot seem to be shaken, that cannot seem to apply any level of common sense to it? Where does it come from, and why is a blockade like that unable to be broken?
Well, there's something about the ethos of this state, and for 9 years, Texas was its own nation, and You know, the legend of the defenders of the Alamo all the way up through present day. Certainly guns have been a deep part of the culture in this state. Now, most, of course, usually we don't see them used like we did here in Uvalde. A lot of people go, you know, hunting, they use it for sporting, go to the shooting range, they buy them for home defense, but especially in the last couple of decades, there's been this, you know, this culture of gun promotion, a macho culture that Republican politicians have adopted. The tweet that many of us have seen from Greg Abbott from 2015 expressing embarrassment that Texas was only the second largest gun buying state behind California. That's the attitude that I'm talking about. And so there has become a toxicity around some gun ownership, especially around assault rifles, these military-style weapons of war, and you take the easy accessibility of those weapons of war and their popularity, which is newer, along with the fact that an 18-year-old can get his or her hands on this type of weapon, and we get what we saw here in Uvalde. I don't